Let's just sort out the let's turn the sound off that. Let the feed catch up. Okay, guys, so restarted live paint along. I'm sorry, guys, if you'd followed the link on the Griffin Beast or my other page. I'm having some problems. They changed one of the settings on YouTube, and I cannot work it out for the life of me. I've tried for weeks. I even spent a day doing test sessions, but I will suss it. Oh dear. Not good. Hello. Got a couple more. You found me from the other link. Just having a bit of my coffee while I wait for everyone to catch up, because I've jumped ship. Hello again, Nick. That's better, isn't it? I cannot work it out, guys. When I set it up in the morning to do later, I do the settings, and as soon as I start it, it flips over. Yeah, if I start just live, it works fine. So maybe we can do without the link I put up on Griffin Beast and just get people to subscribe and do the notification bell, because you get beeps when I go live anyway. I'm just slurping my coffee while everyone catches up. So talk amongst yourselves in the chat room. Who else? Anybody new not been on the chat room yet? I don't know. We went through the possibility of my house being built on an Indian burial ground, but I don't think there's many Indian burial grounds in Wiltshire. Got a few stone circles and such like, so could be fairy rings, I suppose. Yeah. Not many ancient Indian burial grounds in good old shires. Okay. Right, enough of my woes. Here he is. One of my favourite war bands, the Anglo Danish. Do love a scrap using the Anglo Danes. And this is this chap, Anglo Danish Warlord. SA01B. Now my stock on my stall is a little bit out of date. I believe the price of these are £4 or £4.50 now. I think it's £4 these ones, because the rising cost of lead. But I bought these off the beasties a little while ago, so they try and keep their prices down. But the price of lead is the price of lead. So it's not lead anymore, is it? The price of white metal is the price of white metal. Yes, he's having a whale of a time. So this one, it comes in two pieces. So the axe is kind of glued in there, but that bit's already there, if you know what I mean. There's a little hole in his hands for you to just pop a bit of glue in there, so it's dead easy. And the shield comes affixed too. What I've done so far is my usual. I've done a zenithal undercoat, and spray it all over with black, and then hit the top with my grey. And then, so well, you can tell it's zenithal. If you hold it like that, it looks dark from the bottom, light from the top. So when you get in your paint, you start building that natural shadow up already. Base is our neutral pumice painted over with a watered down oak brown, and we're ready to rock. We shall start with, one tone up. We go agate skin. Good evening, Karen. You missed it last week. I used loads of purple. I used so much purple you would not believe. I'm not sure if I can get purple into this one. We'll have a go. I enjoy a challenge. So yeah, there's the Anglo Danish warlord. So we're going to start with agate skin. Just boff that. Get that going in there. So how's everyone's week been? We had a good one? I just thought of a way I can get purple in. We're all right. Oh dear. Sorry to hear that. You feel better soon, Kate. Also got the hands. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to snag a table at the other partisan last week in Newark. Beastie Boys kindly had a bit of room on the front of their stand, so I was there, shop window. Managed to take a load of my painted gear up there, and it's kind of cool, really. Some really nice tables. I didn't get as much time to mooch around as I would have liked. Apparently, it was the busiest. That was gate-wise. It was the biggest they've ever had. Yeah, I think he's one of those. We've had a few of them lately, just like these plain Jane ones. You know what I mean? You almost in the bare layer. They don't look much, and they got that old school charm about them. You know. You've got to love an Anglo-Dane warlord having a good old swing about with his axe, ain't you? Well, I think you have. That's what I think, anyway. So now we've got his fleshy bits down. The next is we're gonna boff some gunmetal. I was going to put on the wet palette then. That would have been a schoolboy error. Yeah, metallic on wet palettes don't mix. Yeah, so what was I? Oh yeah, the other partisan. So they had the demo games of Griffin Beast had demo games of their new rule sets they're going to be supporting. Coming out, one's 0-100 hours, I think it is, which is a World War One game. Lovely looking table. All trenches and whatever, and what you call it. Didn't really get a chance to look too much, but I like the on the BC website they've got the load of World War One. It's on their Woodbine design section. I love that section. It's got do you remember the scare? They call them scary scarecrows. There was one of the, I think it was a John Pertwee Doctor Who episode that had like Morris dancers and what have going on, and there was some kind of scarecrows, but they came to life with sack heads. I think it was John Pertwee, wasn't it? But that sort of thing going on. They got I painted a load of the Morris men for my friend. They got Morris men with guns and grenades. This one with a stick grenade is what's the baton things called with the balloons on? But it's basically instead of one of those, he's got a grenade, which is cool. Yeah, it was John. I thought it was John Poke because he was stuck on Earth, wasn't he? With was it Unit or something? Unit? Oh God, I've been watching them all the Doctor Who's right from the start again, and I'm deep into the Tom Baker stuff at the moment. K9. So just all the meaty metal areas. We're just going to give a nice quick coat of gunmetal. What was the other go? Oh yeah, and then Dr. Bob was there with his game, the medieval skirmish game, E-Courge, not E-Courgettes, E-Courge, which I've probably pronounced very badly again. Yeah, I didn't like Sylvester McCoy's Doctor. I think that was a victim of the time, wasn't it? Really, some of the newer Doctors have been good. I don't think the stories have held up so well. And I stopped a little while back, so as you do. Okay, so that's yeah, it's worth looking at it because if you're into like your skirmish games and what have you, and during the 100-Year War it's set. So lots of goody meaty from bash there. Okay. So next I'm going to lay down the lever with Brigadine Brown. Peter Cushing was just the films though, wasn't it? It's like the Dalek ones, wasn't it? But he still had his granddaughter with him, didn't he? So just lay down Brigadine brown as the base coat for our leather. I've just watched an episode where Tom Baker gets into like a flying car, and it's basically a speedboat that's been turned into a flying car. So obviously they've done a lot of work on it, so it gets used in about 3 or 4 episode scenes and stuff. And I just couldn't help thinking that it's probably one of the people that won it on Bullseye. Do you remember that Bullseye? Can't be a bit of Billy. And if they won, if they didn't, if they lost, didn't it? They always wheeled out a car. And if they won, it was always a crap prize. If you want to laugh, don't do it now because obviously you're on here. But when when I go off, go onto YouTube and look up Bullseye worst prize ever. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I was laughing my arse off. It's uh, it's a designer spending spree for the family. So it's like Bullseye were paying the people to go to C&A's and pick out a jumper. Great, super smashing, lovely. Now, some darts for the dart player. Yeah, you 2 blokes come on there, and you win a speedboat. You live in Birmingham, landlocked. Honestly, it is the funniest. And the guys that win it, their faces were like, what the? They were hoping for the car. There's been some real corking bad prize on there. There was another a wine hamper, sort of a wine experience. I think you got taken to a vineyard, or something. Yeah. You've won a ton of baked beans. Oh, 7 in 1. If you hit 1, you'll win this pot noodle. In 2. I remember as kids we were like, in 3. That's what the younger people are now watching my stream, if there is any, thinking, what is he going on about? Has he been drinking tonight? And Bully Star Prize. Yeah, expectations were a lot lower, wasn't they? Yeah, I mean, you've won a weekend away in Scarborough. Put your feet up. You got a weekend at a health farm in Accrington, Stanley. Oh, afraid you've lost. You're going home with nothing. But you've had a lovely time. Yeah, thanks. We've had a lovely time. We've won £50 each. Here's your cash. Do you want to gamble all your cash against a crappy star prize? Blankety blank. I guess that's our Brigadine Brown. See, we're just working through the nice sort of base coats at the moment. So I'm thinking of what we got. So we can do his sleeves like in a white, and then we can do the undergarment in a red. So let's give him green trousers, I think. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Angel green. Let's zap it on the zapper. I've got a new paint zapper, Karen, and it's a bit noisy. It is a welcome to was it Anglia, wasn't it? The TV program. You had that the knight in the shiny thing, wasn't it? Who was that? Was that what was his name? Nick, was it Nick Parsons? Nick Parsons? Sailor Century. Did that have a conveyor belt at the end, Sailor Century? Was it Mercia? Oh, no, Anglia, wasn't it? Is that the one that had the... What had the... That was Generation Game, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, good spot. Generation Game. Cuddly Toy. Cuddly Toy. Yeah, because that changed, didn't it? It was somebody, and then who took it over? Larry Grayson? Was it Larry Grayson? Oh my god. What's going on? Let's talk about painting. Anyone done any painting this week? Cuddly Toy? Yeah, we're doing what we did last week. We're dropping a little bit of medium in there. Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't he? Because did Bruce Forsyth have it before that? Yeah, I think Bruce Forsyth. Then did they swap over or something? I can't remember. That's a long time ago. I've been asleep since then. There's a strap just going over his shoulder I missed. Let's put a bit of brown in there now. Because it was it Isla Sinclair, wasn't it? Was the yeah. Because didn't oh no, it was Terry Wogan that did Blankety Blank, wasn't it? And then Les Dawson. Oh dear, Les Dawson. On mainstream telly, these faces he was pulling. It was brilliant, wasn't it? What's happened to I can't remember the last time I watched something decent on telly. It's all streamy stuff now, isn't it? Right, we're gonna use Crusader skin. All right, I didn't see that. The song and the story. Just get that Crusader skin in there. we go. Next we'll put the layer of the red coat we're going to use, and we're going to start off with Bastis Red, which is a dark purple. Oh, right, okay. That's probably why I didn't see it, because my mum and dad wouldn't have watched folk songs at all. Not that there's anything wrong with folk songs, it's just my dad didn't like music on telly, folk songs, and was there when songs of praise and all that sort of, went instantly off. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to watch on ordinary telly. Most of it's been put behind paywalls now anyway, isn't it? So yeah, with this purple, we're going to hit that as our nice base colour for our red. Yeah, so in between commissions this week, I managed to pick up the a massive pile of old minis, which is incredible. So I've been going through boxes and boxes and boxes of old 80s and 90s minis today, which is really nice. If you look on X or Blue Sky, I'll put a lot more pictures on Blue Sky now. But yeah, it's mostly although there's a lot of Ralph Harper stuff. There's stacks of GW. So just sorting out what I was keeping, what's going to be sold off at the show. So I've been doing that at shows as well, selling old blisters of stuff, and as well as my painted stuff, which is cool. There we go. So that's the base for the red. I don't think there's anything. Oh, there's a half-ton elf over there. But yes, good stuff. Right, let's get some base white on there, shall we? We're going to start with Worn Stone, which is kind of like a greyish, pale olive grey kind of white. Kind of wool, I suppose, is a good. Used to have some paint called wool in it, very similar to it. A bit of medium into it. We're using this on his sleeves. It's a pretty straightforward miniature to paint, but we're gonna, because he's pretty straightforward, give him a bit of oomph if we can. He's our warlord. I said I've snoring dog. So once I get a chance, we're going to start a sister channel. It's going to be more sort of battle reports and stuff like that. And maybe the odd like painting one of the retro ones. I want to keep this name Pirate Paints. I want to keep mainly this saga feel to it. So, because apparently you can have about 4 or 5 channels attached to the same account, so I thought that was pretty cool. I can get 4 or 5 that don't work. So just got a base layer of, so this is that warm stone. I went quite heavy on the grey on the shield just to give us a bit of a head start. Okay. Let that dry off. The back of his shield, we just drop some oak brown in there. No great shapes here, we're just keeping it nice and simple, nice and tidy. I was trying to think, we're talking to a lot of people at the show, and something I was discussing with a lot of guys is they're saying, oh, I can't paint very quick, and I think one of the things is I was discussing was the workflow. So if you noticed tonight, I've not waited for anything to dry. I'm painting one bit, then I'm moving on to the next. I'm getting the wash on as early as I can, so the wash is dry by the time I need to go back to that area. And that's all it is. It's nothing. There's no great science behind it. It's just getting a decent workflow to your miniature. I think is the most important. So it's like we did the flesh. We've had the flesh wash on. The flesh wash is dry now. So now I'm going to go in with the black wash to put onto the chainmail. We're using no oil at the moment because I've still not received my Army Painter dark wash, which I prefer. To be honest though, when they dry, they're pretty similar. It's just the application that the Army Paint one applies a lot darker. So you kind of know where you are. You tend to. It's really easy with this known oil to put a bit more than you want to on, if you know what I mean. Whereas the Army Paint one I found, you can, because it's stronger, you can water it down a bit, etc., etc. But I think that's more of a personal taste thing than anything else. I wouldn't say this is rubbish or this is better. Just personal taste. Not that I've tasted it. Well, I have tasted it. It doesn't taste very nice. Don't drink your paint, people. Yeah. I mean, a couple of my friends that when he writes everything down and every mix of paint he does, every blah blah blah. He writes everything down. He's got books and books and books. I tend to. It's like tonight. I might have a Google and see what people have painted. Blah blah blah. I think, right, I'm gonna go red, green, blah blah blah. So I've got a rough idea, but nothing's set in stone. Sometimes you do it in the miniature kind of speaks to you and says, no, I should be painted blue. I should be painted red. Yeah, especially not an animal. Yeah, don't drink an animals. But don't drink any paint. I this new paint probably is not as harmful for you, but I still don't think that's a good reason to drink it. I mean, there are lots of nice drinks available, that's for sure. Yeah, it's like workflow. I've been playing around with this guy earlier. I was just looking at, because I've got to paint a lot of elves, so I'm looking at different ways to do gold that's going to speed up doing lots and lots and lots of them. So you got like a different silver than I usually use with a different highlight. So yeah, he's about halfway there. But again, it's like, because I'm layering stuff up, you're doing a layer of stuff, letting it dry, layer of stuff. And I think Duncan Rhodes is right as well with the idea of using thin layers, because thin layers dry quicker. You can build up your paint a lot quicker, which ideally is what you want to do, isn't it? So his leg wraps, which I keep forgetting what they're called, but we're going to go with Ancient Stone, which is part of the triad that's got the bones and that in it. It's a pale olive brown. It's only a little bit different from the worn stone. There we go. Yeah, if anyone's wants to have a look, I'll hopefully over the next couple of days, I've sorted out a couple of boxes of stuff already to go straight onto eBay. And I'm just gonna, really old Ralph stuff, so I'm just gonna chuck it on there like 99p and see what happens. So I mean, the rare one's obviously going to be battered up, but there'll be quite a bit that goes for 99p. So the eBay one, if you look on the links on the top of my X and Blue Sky account and Facebook account, I think it's Paints Pirate, I think. So see, whereas I'm putting that white on quite thin, by the time I got around the other side of the leg, I could go around again. There we go. And I think we use that oak brown for the half of the axe. Yeah, it's been quite fun today. Been on Blue Sky putting pictures of old miniatures up that I've found in these boxes. Some of the reactions have been hilarious. Mm-hmm. So now we put that green on first. Let's put let's work some layers of them rather than just the wash. So we're going to go Guardian Green. That's the thing with the tones, you can put more if you want a quick finished job. you know, just put the green tone over that. But we're going to build up a few layers of it because there's only a little area as well. So we're going for the next green up in the triad, which is the Guardian. Fin it with a bit of thing. And I'm looking to catch his knee there. But I don't want to go under the shadow of his halberd. His mail shirt. It's quite a halberd, isn't it? I've left a little bit of the darker green in the crease there, and a little bit under there. And around the back, it's just going to be that little bit there, and that little bit there. So obviously, it probably wouldn't be at all because of the shield, but it's called scale shading. So you can invent highlights into it. Go for rule of cool. So next one, Woven Fury, which is another purple from the cool reds. Deep purplish red, but not quite as deep as the other one. So we're really going for it tonight. And we're going to have a base of 2 purple reds. So we get a nice rich red in there. Again, we're going to water it down a bit. And I'm just going to hit the high areas and go down the sides a little bit. That first colour I only want to leave right at the bottom of those crevices, if there are, or valleys, the valley. Yeah. So you see where I've done the high bit. And a bit round the edge of the chainmail on that original purple. And around that middle bit. Okay. That's drying up a sec. Well, that's drying up a sec. We're going to do that edging around this chainmail. I like to think that's going to be a bit of leather. Sometimes I put a colour on it, but we're going to go with carnelian skin, which is our leathery colour that I like to use. Bit of medium, just a little brushful just to keep it nice and damp. And then we're going to let it run. It just helps the paint run a bit easier off the brush. There we go. Around there. The dog snoring got a compliment again the other day, which is good. It's nice to know that he's doing his job. A bit round the sleeve as well. Always rest that little finger, lock it all in. Just stop your hand moving. Takes a lot of the movement away. What you're looking for is that's as much as your hand should be moving around. You see my little finger's not moving. There we go. brown, so it looks like a it's a bit interesting. All right. Next, we're going to start working this leather up. So next one we want in that brown triad is the bootstrap brown. Oh, excuse me, dry throat. So the heater's on in here. Excuse me. The next bit of medium, and we're going to do a shoot. So what we want to do is cross the toes, then paint like lines and lift off going across the top. We can start at the top of this boot and down the side. We want to leave some areas in that original darker brown. Across the top of the boot. I'm just dabbing it on with the very tip of the brush. Okay. And the scabbard here, we're going to go down that edge, high edge. And then we're going to come around the corner. But we're not going to go right across the flat of the thing. We're just going to come maybe a third of the way into it. Yeah. And then it's like this flap here, we're going to catch the bottom edge. Maybe the bottom half of the flap. Bottom half of the bag. So we're leaving that other darker brown there. We'll catch the top edge of this strap. Top edge of these ones. Top edge of that one. It doesn't have to go right along, it can dip in and out. There we go. That one we're not going to start typing there because it's too dark, so we're just a little bit in there. Just starting to suggest our highlights. So on his hat there, we're going to go in a triangle inside the top bit. There we go. But leaving the bottom edge. So we're just painting towards that point. Let's come and drop a little bit more in there if it's a little bit. If you think it's going to look cooler, do it. Don't do too much because you'll completely cover over the original paint you put on there, and then you're not gaining anything from it. Okay. So next we're going to go for the next green up, which is number 3, which is green skin. We're going to give this a little bit of a buzz. One thing I've noticed with these vortex shapes, because they're good, but be careful because you're holding the bottle that way up. The ball bearings in these then drop into the spout. So then you start squeezing, you squeeze harder, and you risk popping the top off these. So once you spun the vortex, give it a little tiny shake, just drop the ball bearings down. Important that. Could be a very messy moment otherwise. Okay, so we're going to give some medium. And now we're looking for just the top of that knee. Where we thin this out a bit. It's going to look really bright at the moment. Because it's fresh paint going on. It will dull down a little as it dries. We're just looking for any are those raised areas that are in the sunlight. There we go. Next, we want to start building our reds on that nice purple base we got there. This is a purplish red, a dragon red. It's quite a jump from that purple to this red, but because it does tie in quite nicely, so thin it a little bit with your medium. And we're going to work down from our peaks again, as it were. So go straight down the middle of them and just let it come down the edge a little bit. That purple's going to have some lovely shade. And just take the bit, there's a little tiny bit of red I got on that brown there. Just go back and clean it up. There we go. And then we're going to load up with red again. Starting at the top. Quite wide at the top, most of the width of that purple. And as we come down, we're going to that edge. We'll go right around the edgelet. Just come inside a little bit. Again with that, it's not going to be very much around there, just around the edge. There we go. We'll look at our red and say, was that too purpley still? We'll thin our red out again. We'll go back round. This time we'll go inside the red we already put there. We're just going to strengthen it up. It's quite nice with that purple base. You get that sort of, I don't know how well you see it on camera, that almost glow. It makes the red really pop. Okay, so next we're going to look at these whites. So let's look at these sleeves first. So they've had the worn stone, so we're going to go to Brain Matter Beige. Medium. Do the same thing. So we've put a nice coat on there. So now we're going to look for where the highlights start. So around the cuff, this top edge is fairly. See how I've dabbed it there? It will glow up really bad at the end of these lights, so I doubt you'll be able to see. But as we come around the edge, we're just going to pick up the higher areas. So across the top, we've gone all Brain Matter Beige. As it's come around the edge, we're just going to do the higher areas. As it gets that bottom edge, we're not going to go under. We're just going to leave it at that one stone. Okay, on this top edge, we're going to go full Brain Matter Beige. And as we work down the arm, we just pick up the higher areas. Then there's areas like that back under themselves. We're not going to touch them. Okay, next we're going to go for Bony Spikes, which is the next up to Ancient Bones, which we put on his leggings. These are quite subtle, these shades when you're working like these, and it's quite hard to pick them up on camera. But if you keep working on one, you put it in the light box, it does it, and it's all dried out. So what we're doing with these, we're gonna stay inside those grooves. We're gonna just leave that original white. So painting a line across in between those divots, if you know what I mean. So we're going to get a nice definitive shadow without running any grey or brown in there. It's not great doing using shades on the white. If you can avoid it, it's best if you can. This is almost it. Just layer up a few different whites. These are more like a creamy white we're still using at the moment. This is like a beigey, very white beige. So it doesn't have to join up. We don't have to completely join up. The more you leave, it's just like folds. So that's cool. Now we're going to water it down a bit more. I think we'd use the Brain Matte Beige for this one. I'm just going to drop a nice thin layer over this. Just save us time at the end. So we'll have a nice base to work with our shield. I'm probably just going to do like a nice colourful quartered shield. Nice and simple. But it's nice to start from a nice smooth white base. Okay. Maybe a yellow and black quarter, that look cool, wouldn't it? Okay, so hair. Oh, hair bear. Thinking great hair. What do you think? What do you think? Deep grey. Deep grey. I've used a lot of brown there, so I don't want to give him brown hair. So I'll go use this nice grey. Using it quite thin. Because you're going over. Yeah, I mean, this warlord's been around a bit, and he knows what's what. Yeah. Good bit of grey going on in there. I'll put the stand a little bit different, but tonight I keep wandering away to the edge of the camera, don't I? There we go. Just let that dry a sec. So now, whilst that's drying, we shall highlight this flesh out. So we're going to go to Bubbly Berry and Flesh. I was looking through all that, all my old boxes. Look, I found this massive cauldron. Look at that. Don't know what it's for. It's just solid lead. You don't get many of them to the pound. So I thought I'd just share that with you. It seemed important at the time. Okay, so we're gonna load up thin out with a little medium, and we're just gonna just touch down on the cheeks there and his eyebrows and his cheeks there and his mouth. Just a little dab in there. Yeah, I've got some kicking around. My Dwarf King's Bear collection's coming on. I've got 3 of them there now. Yeah, I took a lot of the miniatures away that were there because we had a lot back there, and I thought it's time to clear out. So yeah, we'll just highlight his face up a bit there. So next we grab our cycle brush, do his eyeballs. Now, usually I grab out at this point I grab out the matte white. So we need it out anyway. The other one I found earlier. What about that then? It's a saber-toothed pug. Oh dear. Some people shouldn't be allowed out, especially sculptors that do stuff like that. So we're gonna load up with white, lot medium in the brush. Make sure we're not overloaded. And just paint that eyeball in. Yeah. Just make this eyeball a little bit bigger. Get a nice better shape. Sometimes you get a little bit of awkward flash or a little bit of a defect in the sculpt. It's probably there we go. It sends your brush a little bit sideways, but you can sort it all out. So the white was his sleeve, so I'll leave his eyeballs like that for a second while I just highlight his sleeves out. I'm going to water it down a little bit with the medium. Now we're just going to do the highlight, so we're going to go in little lines across the sleeve there, but only at the very top. And it flicked just around the edge a little bit, so it's still dark at the bottom. I've picked up my other brush, the one with no point on it. It's all right, we'll be all right. So it's a little bit across the top there. Keep it all just in the areas where there's going to be best light. And then whilst we're at it, we'll water it down so it's nice and thin. And we'll just drop a nice extra layer of lovely white base on the shield. See, every so often that's what I mean, it's not taking me much extra time, but when we paint the shield, because we're going to use a yellow, it's going to really pop. You know, we're an hour in. We're an hour in, Karen. So it's not bad. We're doing all right. We're gonna get there. Right, so let's get some black. I'll just chuck a little bit black on the palette. Bit of matte black. I don't know who Matt is. I've got a lot of his paints. That's a bit of a snorter joke, isn't it? So, with silly jokes aside, let's dip it in the medium. Some nice thin black. Unload your brush. I'm looking for a little nice dot. That was a bit of water in the brush there, so it kind of unloaded all the black onto there. Just zap it back out. So now it's got one eye at the moment. Yeah, because it sucked all the black onto the eyeball, then ended up with a big black eye. Is get a little bit more water in there, make it nice and loose, and then sort of let the brush suck it up, wick it up. I think the word is wick. Okay. It did it because there was a little bit of too much moisture in the brush, and the brush just dropped a little bit of water into it. So a little bit of bubbly bearing flesh. I'm just gonna make his eyes, because he looks a bit surprised. So we're just gonna go back in with the barbarian flesh and just shape those eyes. Very hard to see on camera. I've got a bit of a square. Out of focus, sorry guys. I'm trying to do it and keep the thing in view, which is quite hard. I'll just highlight his face again with a bit of barbarian flesh whilst I was there. Add a little brush in there. That's the smallest, that's the Psycho brush. So a bit worn out, that one, but I like them when they wear down. The other handy brush to have around is the Insane, which is kind of that sort of size. That gets you out of a lot of trouble. There's his face done. He looks quite friendly, doesn't he? Okay, so what we do with that grey, because we can, that's black, not Known oil. Grab our Known oil. I'm just going to put some into the grey hair. Be careful, don't it will pretty much stay where it's put. Just make sure you don't put any too much on and it pulls up anywhere. Okay. So what I do next is we get our gold, greedy gold. I grabbed a couple more bottles from Griffin Beast the other day because they've got some spare. I think they got 3 left. They were clearing out their stock, so I think they had them at £2 a bottle. I'm not sure if they got it on the website or whether it's just at the convention. But I thought I shall grab a couple of those. So you can hit the gold across there. And there's a loop there on his belt, which is a little dab of gold on there. I think about doing the bolts on his helm, just because we can. The trick with those is load up the paint. As you know, there's no point on this brushlet. It's knackered. This is one I use for doing washes. Can you see it? But if we put a little bit of medium in there and load the brush, we can see which way it's tilting the point. So as we go and pick these bolts out, just go nice and light. Because we've got the medium in the brush, the paint wants to jump off the end of your brush. So that very slight touch will just let the little tiny blob. Does that make sense? I'm going to do a video about it. It's quite important. That's the next thing I can do. Lots of I'm going to start doing some short tutorials again, because I used to do those and they always seemed very popular. Just there we go. Probably not historically accurate, but hey, I won't tell anyone if you don't. Let's do the ones around the boss of his shield as well, just because we can. There we go. So next, we will put some blue. Which one should we use? Let's use Regal Blue. Just trying to fancy him up a bit. Regal Blue, we're going to bit of medium in there. We're just going to do a nice just thicken it out a bit. Be nice and easy to cover because we've got like a lot of whites built up in there. And there we go. And a nice one around tougher sleeve. I'm now getting clenched up in the corner there, sorry. Oh, sorry, dog. That was a disapproving snore if ever I've heard one. Okay. Then we're going to get pure red, the purest red. This is going to be a highlight for our. So literally we're going to go right down the center of those high areas inside that other red. So we're just going to go straight down. There we go. Not worry about getting the whole length of it. We want to do this edge. You want a little bit at the top, lift your brush up a little bit further in. There we go. Okay. Happy with that. So next we're going to start with our shield from it. So demigod flames. Yarg. So we're just going to do a nice quartz shield. So we're going to. God, look at the white banging out on that under that light. Look. Oh, that's crazy. So we use the dots, those rivets, as our guideline. Sometimes they're straight-ish. Well, not this time. Let's not use those rivets as our guidelines. So I'm going to go. Nice easy shield. Thin that paint, because we're going over white, so it's quite easy. So thin it, thin it, thin it. It's very orangey yellow, this one anyway. The thinner is, the smoother the finish we're going to get. It's got plenty of coverage, especially in these Fanatic paints. It's a really thin one. I like painting freehand shields, as you know. I like painting different designs, but every so often I just like painting just a plain shield. So next we're going to grab a really bright blue. Let's go with even brighter. Let's go for shield wall blue. That's fitting. Let's grab a sweetie. We'll grab that nice, insane detail brush. With that nice in shieldable blue. we're going to paint a line down the centre of this blue. Yeah. Bit more medium in there. Blue the right consistency. Okay. Give us that nice kind of lined effect. So now that yellow's dry, so we're going to we jump to demonic yellow, which is a really bright yellow. Don't be scared of getting some colour onto these guys. Okay, so my bright yellow, I'm going to stay inside that darker one. And just start at the top of the shield and work down. Lightly brush in. Nearly to the edge of that one, you can see. And again, so opposite on this bottom bit, the light's going to catch the bottom of the shield, but not around near the boss. It's quite a big jump in those tones, but there we go. We're going to get some black in there in a minute, which will sort it all out. Oh, we've got some black on our palette, haven't we? Let's use that. Next, give us a nice contrast. We're going to blast it with black. There we go. Keep it nice and straight. Just marry it up with the other side. Star Coach shields. I know a lot of guys buy the transfers and that, but have fun with it. If you start with just like Dark Age style shields, you know, quarters, halves, the swirly bits, probably got a name. probably isn't swirly bits, but painting nice lines. And just build it up, and all of a sudden your army has all painted shields instead of transfers, which is good. I'm going to get some soft tone, I think, and run that around his leggings. So I want him to look a bit used. Probably put a little bit of medium in my brush for that, just to make it flow nice. So when the leggings just look a little bit clean. So I'm going to put it all over, and I'll go back in a sec with some medium and wash the higher areas off, because we don't want all that nice white we've done to get lost into that. So wash the brush out, put some medium in your brush, not too much, just a brush low so your brush is wet. I'm going to just paint the areas we don't want any medium in, and it will make it run into the grooves a little bit rather than take it off, you know what I mean. So what we'll do next is put the highlight on the leather. Which was leather brown. So we spent a bit of extra time on this guy. I think around the hour mark he was almost tabletop, and we could have done him in an hour. But this is your warlord, so it's good to make him a little bit fancy pants. A bit of medium in your brush. Take a lot of paint back out, and literally we're going to do like highlights it across his toes. We're shaping it. These are just the little areas that are either still clean or catching a little bit more of the light than the others. So we're just working around the shape of the shoe or boot. And then when we do load a little bit more up, so the edge of the scabbard, we're just getting the edge this time. We're not going to go around the sides, we just want to hit that edge. Proper Space Marine highlighting, edge highlighting. I'm going to edge highlight the straps and the bag. Can we see that on there? Yeah. Any edge, upward facing edges, we're just going to drop a little bit on when it goes into those more recessed areas. We're not doing so much. So the helmet, we're going to just do a little tiny bit right in the middle of the top. It's almost like a arrowhead shape. Okay, there's a bit of a strap in there. Nearly there. We just need a little bit of highlight on his hair. When that's dried nice and dark, we can get one of the lighter greys. There we go, company grey. Any of the lighter greys will do, or white. Grey's better. I'm not going to put any medium in it. I'm going to take a little tiny bit and take most of it off my brush, and then ever so lightly I'm just looking at the raised strands, just trying to brush just the edge of the higher strands. So it's a bit like a overbrush or a similar to dry brush technique, but I'm being really directional. I'm just picking out the ones that I want to just put a bit more, like his moustache there. I put a little bit extra in there. That's going to dry off nicely. Then we're going to grab, really going to town him now, some shining silver, some shinning silver. And we do the same thing. We're going to load the brush up and then take most of it back out. And we're just going to touch certain areas to highlight them. So the top of the axe there, we're going to go along the edge of the blade. And the edges. And then just let it, from the edge of the blade, I'm just touching it. Can you see those lines? Yeah. And then at the back edge, we'll catch a little bit of light as well. Underneath, not so much. So the top of the boss. Top edge of that. Now chainmail, just dance around on the chainmail. Little areas that could possibly catch light. It's like the top of his arm there, definitely. So we're going to go quite heavy across there. But we won't put any round. And the bottom of his belly there. But we're not going to put any underneath. And the edge of that. And the top of his thigh. These are areas where the chainmail's lifted up towards the line. Again, a little bit more silver on the brush. And we're going to have a look at this helm. So a little bit on this nose. Let's keep in between the gold bits we did. We're not putting too much on there, just little dabs. Okay, so it's just the wood to do now. So we've done oak, so we're going to go tree ancient. Not ancient tree, tree ancient. Load up a bit of that. And we're just going to paint across the top. Sort of third, as it were. So that top edge going around the, from where the light's hitting. We're not going to paint any underneath. And then the back of his shield, we're just going to go and daub a little bit in there. There's some grain on that shield, so yeah, we'll be all right. And then we're going to go to Dryad Brown. I'm just going to, again, now we're just going to paint right across the top there. The top edge where there's a bit more daylight. There we go. It's not that it's shining, it's just that that bit will look to people's eyes a little bit brighter. And a little bit down, just the edge of that shield. And a little bit down the edge of that side. And I think he's done, so let's paint our victory lap. Stick a tuft on him. Let's get some more black. Oh, it's our Abaddon black base because it's a little bit thicker. that matte black from the Fantic range is really nice on the wet palette. There's a Baden black if you want some just a bosh on. A little bit in there, needs a little bit of black in there. Make it nice, and that's where I used it quite thin off the palette. Okay. Let's find some tufties for him. We can have a quick look, and then we'll be done. Let's put the lid on the wet palette. Grab some tufts. These are Army Painter ones, which I grabbed from Great Escape Games. Great Games. Griffin Beast doing 2. And who else doing? Firestorm doing, but get yourself some gamer grass. Yourself some glue. Some belt braces sort of guy. Ooh, that's new pot glue is quite runny. I'm gonna boff. I think that's the official word to use as you put these on is boff. I'm gonna boff some of these on. Don't be fussy and start thinking, oh, what shape do I need? Just go random with it. And an odd number seems to work best. Don't know why, it's probably the science behind it. There we go. Let's shut the glue down before I glue myself to something. Because gluing yourself to stuff is Nick's trick, not mine. Okay, let's have a look at what we got. There we have one Anglo Danish warlord. I think so. He's got his Dane axe out. It's quite tough. The Anglo Dane warlord is one of the tougher warlords. When he hits you, it's always pleasant. There we go. There's a close up of his face. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Right. Well, that's it done. 1:39. So yeah, got quite a bit done really in that sort of time. So again, I'll lacquer him in a little while when he's nice and dry, and I'll put some pictures up of him in the morning. Terribly sorry about the feed not working again. If you're watching this on the watch back, well done for finding it. I'll work on that some more. Yeah, that's a bit perplexing. Well, thank you for joining me, and hope that was entertaining. I know the start was a bit of a challenge. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for joining me. And if you're watching us on Watchback, don't forget, subscribe, like, share if you can. That's brilliant. Watch this space for new stuff arriving over the next sort of month or so, hopefully. Got lots of plans in fruition. Is that right? In planning. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Have a smashing weekend, and bye for now.